Alexis, is Kiera with Home Slice Adulting, and I'm coming to you with my review for Love and Hip Hop Hollywood Season 4, Episode 1. And I want to say that you guys shouldn't get super used to me doing Ratchet Television reviews because I found it to be a little bit much for me because at the time when I kind of fell off from doing those TV reviews, I was, in my final year, and I still am in my final year of finishing my business degree. So it got to be a little too much for me having to keep up with the shows and then, take notes and then do a video and then edit that video. And it was just too much for me. So I strayed away from that. And I want to apologize to everyone for not finishing some of those shows like Real Housewives of Atlanta and Love and Hip Hop New York. And I did enjoy watching those shows, and they are still in my DVR. I still don't know what happened towards the end of those shows, but I felt because Love and Hip Hop Hollywood was the real first Ratchet TV reality show that I had begun reviewing when I started my channel, that for old time's sake I would do it this time around. And so don't get used to it. But I do plan to be reviewing Love and Hip Hop Hollywood from beginning to end. So let's get to it. Alright, so typically I take notes whenever I am watching a show, but this time around I didn't take notes, and so we're just gonna go off my memory, and hopefully it won't take up too much time. Now, is it me or are there too many people on the show this time? Now, Love and Hip Hop Hollywood is one of my favorite locations of the Love and Hip Hop franchise because nobody on the show is like a real thug. Nobody on the show is really about that life. So a lot of their little scuffles and stuff are not too serious. People don't walk away bleeding, and there's some hair pulling and there's some cat fights, but none of the men are fighting. It's like the nice version of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta or Love and Hip Hop New York, and that's just the type of thing that I like. But anyways, and one of the things that I found out that I liked as well was that there were not so many people on this show. And whenever a few people dropped off for a season, they would only bring on a handful of people to replace them. But this time around in season 4, there are too many people. We have Tierra Marie, we have Moniece and her girlfriend Ad, we have Zell, who the heck is he? We have Masika, we have Brooke Valentine, we have Safari, we have Keisha Cole and Booby. That's the worst nickname ever. We have Hazel E and her boyfriend Rose Burgundy. There we go. Rose Burgundy. We have Alexis Sky, who happens to be a different baby mama of Fetty Waps. We have Lil Fizz, and we still have not got to see Ray J and Princess. We haven't seen Lyrica, A1, or their mamas. So if you can't fit everybody onto one episode, then maybe you got too many people. It's just too many people, and I'm sure I forgot somebody. I'm certain. But anyways, let's start off with Tierra Marie. Tierra Marie, her only scene this time around was her fighting with Hazel E, and I want to like Hazel E. I feel like I kind of do like Hazel E because she's a little funny to me. She's funny to watch. But something about the scene between Tierra Marie and Hazel seemed like it was edited improperly, or that it was a little bit staged. Because one moment we see them getting out of their cars to enter into this restaurant, and like that, they're like fighting. Like there's no pleasantries. But something about it didn't seem real, didn't seem right. When Tierra decided that she wanted to get up from the table, she kept her drink in her hand on purpose because we knew a drink was going to fly. Something was not right. And then Hazel E talking about that she's knocking down, the women in her life that she don't like flies or whatever. And it's like, Hazel E, what are you talking about? I don't understand. But anyway, we'll get back to her later. So Tierra Marie still ain't got her life together, and it's really unfortunate to kind of see her unravel a little bit. But I think that their friendship is either they weren't really friends in the first place, or they just keep having these misunderstandings. And sometimes it's just like that in friendships. But moving on. Next we have Moniece and Ad. I actually like Moniece with Ad, and I typically don't like Moniece at all. So, you know, it's some people who get into a relationship with the right person and it kind of helps them to transform or stay chill or whatever. And it seems like that's what's happening in their relationship, which is cool with me. And so we meet some dude named Zell. And when he walked out with his nipples showing, like one nipple showing at the pool, I'm like, who is this? Who is this dude? I don't know who he is. Is he a blogger? Because he came off to me as a blogger. Something about always having the tea. I don't know. I just know that I'm not gonna like him. Because we see later on in this episode that he gets into a fight with Alexis Sky, and then in a preview of what's coming up in future episodes, we see him having a little talk with Alexis Sky, trying to bring Alexis Sky and Masika together after Masika, you know, made it clear that she didn't want nothing to do with the girl. So anybody that can, you know, get a drink thrown at them and they can fight with this person and then they sit down with that person is just in it for the mess, and I'm not into messy people, so I don't like Zell already. Next we have Masika, and Masika's boobs look terrible, y'all. So y'all know when you blow up a balloon, like before you blow the balloon up, like if it's a blue balloon, it's like a solid blue, and the bigger you blow up the balloon, the less dark blue it becomes. It's more like you can see through the balloon. And because, you know, as the balloon is expanding, the color is like less concentrated, right? So that's what's happening to Masika's boobs. Is that as she is getting bigger and bigger breasts, her skin is screaming for help, and they no longer look an appropriate color because her skin is expanding and it's becoming more translucent. It looks so bad. Like they're really far apart and they're really huge, and Masika shouldn't have done anything to her body. She's a pretty girl, and now, you know, the pressures of being in LA have just pushed her to the edge, and she can't say nothing about Miss Nikki baby because she's getting there. She's getting to the point of no return. But anyways, yeah, moving on. We'll talk a little bit more about Masika later when I get to Hazel E. So let's discuss Brooke Valentine. You guys, I think Brooke Valentine is from Houston. Correct me if I am wrong, and I am from Houston myself, so you know I always gotta rep for the people who are from my hometown, okay? But anyways, I really liked Brooke Valentine back in the day. I knew some of her more deep tracks as well. I really liked her. Like anybody that's from Houston, I try to rep, you know, real hard because Houston is a great place. But anyways, so when my sister told me that she was going to be on the show, I was like, oh, that's cool. And so when I saw her and I heard her singing, and I was like, go ahead, because there's so many people on this show who have not made it and who have no talent. And so when I saw there was going to be somebody on here who's actually talented, it was cool. And she was sitting by the bonfire, and then the dude that's playing the guitar gets up to leave, and then the guy named Marcus that comes sits next to her looks like a cross between Gucci Mane and Stefan. And by Stefan I mean like the non-nerdy version of Steve Urkel. So anyways, they're in a relationship for like a year, and she says explicitly that as soon as I learned that he was divorced, I hopped on that chocolate train, and you know, we've been together ever since. So yeah, so eventually Brooke Valentine is hanging out with Marcus's mother, and Marcus is apprehensive about it, and he's like, oh, nothing good can come of this. But you know, as I suspected, his mother let Brooke know that he's not technically divorced. And so she invites him over for this dinner, and she's dressed like a sexy maid, and he's all like, oh yeah, I want some of that, clean me up. And she's like, oh, so it's me, you, and your wife. when were you gonna tell me that you weren't actually divorced? And so here's how you know that a dude doesn't care about you or is doing what he wants to do, is that almost immediately he flips it on her, like, oh, so what you want to do? And it's like, Brooke didn't know what to say. She was just so taken aback. If you flip something that's your responsibility on me, I know you're full of crap, and you know it's over with. It's like, come on, you were not honest about your marriage, and now she's upset about it, but it's her responsibility. Like, he didn't really apologize for it. And I mean, she shouldn't have stayed with him, or she shouldn't allow him to break her down as quickly as it was. Oh, you know how much I care about you and how much I love you. What? Don't come over here. And it's like, you're not serious. But you know, Brooke Valentine is just a person like the rest of us. And sometimes when the people that we love lie to us, we let it slide because we love them so much. So I'm not going to give her too much flack for it. But a little red flag should have popped up when he said, I got a paralegal to take care of it. Now, raise your hand if you have ever heard of a divorce paralegal. I haven't. I've heard of divorce attorneys, divorce lawyers, but I have never heard of a divorce paralegal. So red flag number one, you don't get a paralegal to handle your divorce. Whatever you're doing with this paralegal, something's not right. And when he said paralegal, my antennas went up. So, you know, Brooke, you need to check your antennas. But besides that, I'm a real big fan of Brooke Valentine, and hopefully she puts out some good music shortly. Anyways, moving on. Safaree, nothing's going on with Safaree. I feel like Safaree is going to be one of those auxiliary people that you sprinkle him on top of other people's storylines. Like, oh, he was there. He was there when somebody else's storyline unfolded. I don't think he's going to have one of his own. So, next, we're going to move on to Keyshia Cole and Booby, who I can't remember what she called him, but it wasn't Booby. But anyways, we all know about how that marriage kind of fell apart, and I was surprised to see that they are living in the same house. It's very interesting. The way the arrangement was set up, it kind of seemed like he was a live-in babysitter, but she did seem very over him and was not interested in anything more. So I think Keyshia Cole is super over it and is getting all of her feelings out in song. So whatever. He did apologize to her, which I think meant a lot to her, and I can't really tell if Booby is trying to get back with Keyshia Cole or not. He admits that he was a bad husband and he cheated, and I think it's very big of him to admit his wrongdoing, but it's unclear to me whether or not he's interested in getting back with her, but whatever. Moving on. So Hazel E. Now, Hazel E., I felt like when she came back last season in season 3, she looked really good, but I feel like she's had some work done since then because she doesn't look as good as she did last season. I don't know what's going on. Now, I am not for people who are, I would say about 7 years apart is the limit for people who are in a relationship. So she's 10 years apart from this young dude, Rose Burgundy, that she is dating. And I feel like that's going to end dramatically, but whatever. Moving on. So she has a women's empowerment thing, and I'm trying to figure out what part was empowering. When she said women's empowerment, I'm thinking it's going to be a workshop. But, you know, like, was it Masika or Moniece? I think it was Masika who said that this event is just going to be a way for her to peddle her music, which, you know, it kind of turned out to be that way. But anyways, everybody shows up, and here's the deal. Why did Hazel Lee invite Masika, who she basically called her nemesis? If you don't like somebody, why are you going to invite that person to your function? And also, if you get an invite to a function from a person that you don't like, why are you going to go? Like, it just makes no sense. You're inviting drama, and eventually we find out from Hazel Lee that that's kind of what she wanted. She wanted to knock down these girls like bowling pins. I don't know, whatever. And Hazel Lee comes in with all the fanfare in the world and a helicopter and a very expensive looking mink. And we know how Safari feels about fur. Safari was really into it. He was like, that fur looks amazing. You could see he was all envious and was, you know, eager to figure out where she had gotten it from so he can get him one. But she came in, she did her music or whatever, and was it Masika who brought earmuffs? And it's like, what the heck? I just don't understand why Zell, Masika, and Moniece would show up at all, and then it blows up, and then they throw drinks or whatever, and then she's like, oh, women's empowerment, yeah, that was it. And it's like, what part of women's empowerment is two women fighting? That's kind of the opposite. But you know, I will say Hazel Lee had a point about the tracksuit that that Masika was wearing to the event or whatever. But yeah, again, I don't like Zell. They were causing a little too much trouble. I mean, if you're gonna go to an event of a person that you don't like, you can at least be cool or whatever, and they're being very rude about it, so whatever. Next we have Alexis Sky, which is another baby mama of Fetty Wap. I don't really have many feelings of her. I don't really have any feelings on her. I feel like she's just a little too rowdy though, about getting all up in Masika's face and Masika's business, and you know, making her life a living hell. Whatever she said that she was gonna do to Masika's life. And it's like, when you are a person who has, you know, real power, you don't need to mess up somebody else's life or get in somebody else's face or get revenge or anything like that, because you know that that person is insignificant in your life. So move on, Alexis. Come on, move on. And the whole incident with her and Zell having that little scuffle is unnecessary. We saw Fizz for a little bit. Nothing's going on with him now that Moniece is in, you know, a relationship of her own. She's not bugging Fizz about nothing anymore, so that's cool. And like I said, we still have heard nothing of Ray J and Princess, and nothing about Lyrica and A1 or their mamas. But we did see a preview of what's to come over the season, and it looks like it's going to be really interesting. The paralegal, the divorce paralegal that Marcus Black was talking about, is going to make an appearance. So that's yet another person that's going to be showing up. We're going to see some little marital issues with Lyrica and A1. We're going to see some, you know, pregnancy and fertility issues with Ray J and Princess. We're going to see a lot more drama with Tierra Marie and, is it Cisco? Tierra Marie and Cisco from Love and Hip Hop New York. Were they ever dating? I don't even know, but we're gonna see him. So it's gonna be one, you know, other crossover from a different franchise. So it's gonna be real interesting. Nikki baby. So I told y'all I was missing somebody, but nothing's going on with her. I think she's gonna be an auxiliary person that's gonna be sprinkled into other storylines as well. So thank you guys for watching. That's just my opinion on the things that I remember from the show. There was a lot of stuff going on, and thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned, because next week I'm going to be doing this all over again. Peace out, home slices.